Hello everyone, welcome to this section. In today's video, we are going to talk about for loops. So a for loop is used to iterate over a sequence or a range of numbers. So the for loop iterates through each element in a sequence, performing an action for each element. The range function in Python is often used to loop over a sequence of numbers. Later on in higher level classes and courses in Python, when we are going to learn about list, tuple, dictionary, and set, then we can also integrate for loops with them as well. So a for loop can iterate over a list, a tuple, a dictionary, or a set. But this is something that we're going to discuss in higher level courses. For now, we are going to learn how to use the range function in Python to iterate over a range of numbers. Let me illustrate it with an example. So now we would like to write a program that prints numbers from 1 to 5 using a for loop. This is the statement of our program. So in order to use the for loop, we have the keyword reserved in Python for. Then we are having the I. It could be anything that we want. We choose our iteration variable to be I. And then we are going to use the in keyword reserved for this. Range is the function of the Python that we are going to use, and the range is divided by a comma. So there are two ranges in parentheses that we are going to have when using the range function, the starting point and the ending point. So let me run this code. When we run this code, this I is going to iterate over this range for us. One thing to mention is that the starting point in Python for range function is inclusive, but the ending point is exclusive. It means that it is going to iterate over for all I in the range between 1 to 6, but it is going to iterate over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and not 6, because the end is exclusive. So it is the start point that is inclusive, okay? And then we are going to print I. So in the output, we are having number 1 to 5 being printed out. But how does it work? So let me put some comment here. So for the first time, we say that we are using this range function. And when we are having the range function, we need to choose the start point and the end point, okay? Start point, end point. And when we are going to have the range function, for example, here we would like to go over numbers from 1 to 5. So the starting point is 1, and it is going to include 1 because it's a rule in Python. So the starting point is inclusive. So it is going to start from 1 and it is going to iterate until it's 5. But because if I write down 5 here, because the end point is exclusive, it is going to iterate over 1, 2, 3, and 4, and not 5, because the end point is exclusive. Okay, so I'm going to put 6 here, therefore it is going to go until 5. So this is how the range function works. And if I want to explain further, we see that for the first time I get the value 1. Okay, when I equals 1, it is basically having this print function being implemented, because we are having print, and in the parentheses we are having I, and I equals 1, so we are going to print 1 in the output, and we see it here. Okay, and then it goes up back again, and I now equals 2. I now equals 2, and it is going to print 2 for us, and we are having it here, and it goes up again. I is incrementing, and we are having the I equals 3, print 3, I equals 4, print 4, and finally I equals 5, print 5. So this is basically what happens in each iteration in this for loop that we are having this output here. So in this lesson, we learned how to write a for loop. We are having a for keyword and one variable to be defined here, then using the in keyword and providing the range, a starting point and an ending point. Starting point is inclusive and the ending point is exclusive. So if I type down until 6, it is not going to go for the 6 one, it is going to go until 5, okay, until the end of 5, including 5. And for this loop, I am printing I. So I, when it starts, because it starts from 1, I equals 1, it is printing 1. Then I is 2, I is 3, printing 3, I is 4, printing 4, I is 5, printing 5, and that's it. It is finished. The for loop is finished, and these are the output of our program. And one thing to mention here is that this is the range function that we are using to iterate over a range of numbers, and it has two parts in the parentheses, starting point and ending point. They are separated by a comma. In the next videos, we are going to discuss further practical coding exercises so you would get used to the syntax of loops, of different types of loops. Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about while loops in Python. So a while loop repeats as long as a specific condition is true. So the while loop requires a condition to be true, and if the condition becomes false, the loop stops. So we need to be careful to avoid infinite loops by ensuring the condition eventually become false, okay? For example, here we're going to print numbers from 1 to 5 using a while loop. Exactly the same exercise as the previous video, but here instead of for loops, we are going to use while loop. So I'm initializing I variable to be 1 before starting the loop, and then I'm having the while keyword, and then the condition here and colon here. Okay, so three parts: the keyword while, the condition here, and the colon. Okay, so I'm going to write down while I is lower than or equal to 5, do these things for me. Okay, while I is lower than and equals to 5, print I, and then increase the value of I by 1. Okay, this sign, let me plus equal, it means that when I'm typing down I plus equal 1, it means I'm typing down I equals I plus 1. So they are basically the same in Python. So I equals I plus 1 is exactly, it is going to do the exact thing as I plus equal 1. Okay, but because it is more concise and shorter, we're going to use this way of writing it. But whenever you see this, it means this. Okay, you can type it down somewhere in comments for yourself for a while to get used to it. So let me illustrate it with an example. Initially, I equals 1. And when we are going to enter this condition, it checks to see 1 is lower than 5. Yes, it's true. So print I. So it is going to print 1 for us. And then in the next line, we are having I equals I plus 1. It means that I equals 1 plus 1. Therefore, I equals 2. Okay, so this line is exactly like this line. And basically, it means that I equals 1 plus 1. Why? We already have 1 here, so this one is that one. And we also have this I here, and I initially equals to 1. So when it equals to 1, we are typing down here. So now I equals to 2, okay? So we incremented the value of I by 1 value. So now I equals 2 at the end of this loop, and it is going to check the condition again. 2 is lower than 5, yes. So it is going to print 2, then it is typing down I plus 1. Okay, so it means that I equals 2 plus 1, therefore I equals 3. But why 2 plus 1? Because we are having this formula, I equals I plus 1. So I equals 2 plus 1. This plus 1 is exactly the same thing here, but we are having 2 because we entered this loop initially using I equals 2, because this is why we were printing 2. So 2 plus 1, now I equals 3. I equals 3, we are going up here again and we are checking the condition. 3 is lower than 5. Yes, it is lower than 5. So print 3 for me. Print 3, sorry. Then I equals 3 plus 1. I equals 4. Okay. And here 4 is lower than 5. Yes. So print 4. I equals 4 plus 1. I equals 5. 5 is lower than or equal to 5. Yes. So print 5. And then I equals 5 plus 1. I equals 6. So I equals 6 now. 6 is lower than or equal to 5? No, it's not. Therefore, it is not passing this condition, and thus it is not going to enter this loop anymore. So this is not an infinite loop, because we mentioned here we need to ensure that the condition eventually becomes false here, and now it becomes false because I equals 6 and 6 is not lower than 5. Therefore, the condition becomes false, and now when I run this program, you see here I'm printing 1 to 5 here. So let me explain it one more time. If we want to have the while loop, we need to initialize the variable a priori to the while loop. So I'm initializing this I here, then I'm having the keyword while, then the condition and one colon, sorry. And as long as I is lower than or equal to 5, I'm going to print the value of I and increase the value of I by 1 unit. And when I'm having I plus equal 1, it means that I plus equal 1, it is exactly equal to this equation. I equals I plus 1. But because it is shorter, we are going to use this one. But we could use this one as well. Okay? So when I equals 1, I print 1 and I increase the value of I by 1 value. So 1 plus 1, it's 2. 2 is lower than 5, yes. So print 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3 is lower than 5, yes. Print 3 for me, and 3 plus 1 equals 4. So 4 is lower than 5, print 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 is lower than or equal to 5, yes, print 5. Increase the value of I by 1 value, so 5 plus 1 is 6. And 6 is lower than or equal to 5, no. So it's not going to enter this while anymore. But what happens if I comment this line? So if I comment this line, it is going to have I equals 1. It is going to say 1 is lower than 5. Yes, print 1. And go up again because we commented this line. Okay. I still, it is 1. Okay. 1 is lower than 5. Yes, print 1. Again, it goes up back again. 1 is lower than 5. Yes. So we are not changing the value of I. So it becomes an infinite loop. So when I run this code, you see it is simply printing 1 again and again. So it is not going to finish because it's an infinite loop. So I need to stop it. Okay, so I need to interrupt it. You see how many 1 it has been printing? Let me go up again. It's not going to finish. So when I go up, oh la la. Okay, so we need to make sure that it is not an infinite